I'm a hustler, man. I'm always get it off the muscle, man. Tryna make them hundreds bust the rubber bands. Rain, sleet, hell or snow, I'm tryna get it in. Woo! I go door to door, stacking up them dollars like dominoes. I go door to door.
Hustlers. What's cracking? It's your boy Deshaun. Welcome back to another episode of Roof Hustlers, baby. Where we tackle all your daily door-to-door objections, rejections, and we teach you guys how to make connections, man. Because if you ain't creating genuine customer connections, building better customer relationships, and providing premier customer service, then you know, like I know, guys, you ain't making a difference in your wallet or the community, baby. And that's what we do over here at Roof Hustlers, man. Help you guys go from average to good, from good to great. Always keeping food on your plate, baby. Because if you do what I do, you know it's a jungle out here. So we just stepped into the third quarter. Time to keep your foot on the gas, stay focused, and finish the year strong, right? So what I want to cover with you guys today on Roof Hustlers is I want to cover 3 closing mistakes that you may be making that's causing you to not close deals and messing up your income, right? Selling is giving homeowners every reason to say yes. Closing is cutting off every reason to say no. We already do insurance restoration. People think we, high level order takers. And I want to encourage you guys to become better salespeople, start closing these deals instead of just getting drug along in these deals. So I want to talk about 3 closing mistakes you may be making that's costing you money and causing you to not close as many deals as you want to. So without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. The first closing mistake that you guys may be battling with is you're not using enough questions when it's time to close. Most salespeople, when it's time to close, you use more statements, telling people what they should do, when they should do, and why they should do it. You got to understand, you're going to close more deals when you learn how to ask your way into deals versus talking your way into deals, right? You want to avoid using those verb-led questions, right? Questions that end in yes, no, or maybe. You want to learn how to ask interrogative questions that allows your homeowner to let you to step into their world so you can use that information against them and close that deal. And I don't mean against them. I mean, we use that information to serve our homeowners, right? So some questions that I like to ask that usually get really good information out of homeowners. What's your biggest concern when it comes to your roofing project? Love to ask that question. What's most important to you when it comes to choosing the right contractor, right? What's your biggest hesitation with the insurance process? What would stop us from doing business today, right? Is this your first home improvement project? All of these questions are questions that allows your homeowner to open up, provide you with the information that you need. You take that information, right? You find the problem, you provide the solution, and then you close the gap. And understand, guys, when you ask questions, be intentional with your questions so you can get very direct answers, right? So another question I like to ask on the insurance process, let's say if we land an inspection, I like to confirm, hey, if there is damage, you do want to take that next step to move forward, right? I don't leave that up to chance. I don't let people think this is just a free inspection. I like to ask those closing questions, those tie-down questions, surface questions, and even deeper questions, right? So you got to understand, guys, the first mistake you may be making when it's time to close is you aren't asking enough questions. You aren't figuring out what's important to your homeowner, and you're not using that information to your advantage. So I highly encourage you, ask more questions. It'll help you close more deals. The second closing mistake that you may be making, and I know this one's going to be super uncomfortable for you guys, but you're not applying enough pressure. You're not applying enough pressure, guys. You're the sales guy that like to let your homeowners off the hook. They tell you they want to think about it. You give them weeks, right? You got to understand, it's okay to put pressure on your homeowners. It's okay to make them feel those emotions. And when your homeowners are feeling those emotions, let them deal with those emotions on their own. It is not your job to jump in and deal with the feelings that your homeowner's feeling with them like it's your problem, right? You got to understand that it's your job to alleviate our homeowners of the pain that they're experiencing in that moment. So it's okay to make them feel that sense of urgency. It's okay to make them feel that fear of loss, right? It's okay to make them feel that, hey, let's get it done today. What do you need to think about? Hey, I need to talk to my husband. Completely understand. If you was to talk to your husband, what do you think would be the main things you guys discuss that would stop you from moving forward today? All right? Put that pressure on your homeowner. Can you come back tomorrow? No, I can't. Today the only day I'm gonna be in the neighborhood. We need to get the ball rolling today. Time's ticking, and the longer you wait to get the process rolling, the harder it's gonna be, right? So it's okay to put that pressure on your homeowner. And I wanna be very clear. When you put the pressure on your homeowner, do not be that guy that try to justify or over-explain your prices or over-explain why you do what you do, right? Do I need to pay my deductible? Yes, you do. That's between you and your homeowner, right? That is your responsibility. Don't explain why they need to pay their deductible or how you can help them out with their deductible. That's their responsibility. Once you give people your price, hey, our price is $18,000. Is that the best you can do? Yes, that's where we like to keep our number at. And you sit in the silence. Sit in the silence, right? So don't be afraid to put that pressure on your homeowner. Somebody told you that,
oh, you're out there pressuring people, that's wrong.
No, I'm here to let you know, people need pressure. Why? Most people aren't decisive. 88% of the world is non-confrontational. So it's your job to put that pressure on your homeowner, make them make a decision, especially if you know the decision that you're helping them make is gonna put them in a better position. Right? So that may be the second closing mistake that you're making. You're not putting enough pressure on people. It's okay to put that pressure on them. Make them move forward today. Ask them what they need to think about. And not only that, let's discuss the things you need to think about right now since you're with the expert in this moment. I'm not interested. Of course you're not interested. I haven't gave you enough information for you not to be interested, right? So it's okay to put that pressure on people. I promise you, it's one of the best things you can embrace. So that's the second closing mistake you may be battling with. You don't put enough pressure on people. The third and final closing mistake you may be battling with, guys, you like to beat around the bush. You hate having the hard conversations, right? You hate dealing with that uncomfortableness, right? You create boogeymans in your head when it's time to have those hard confrontational conversations. So that's your third closing mistake. You beating around the bush. People ask you, do I got to pay my deductible? You say, oh, we'll deal with that. Yes, you do need to pay your deductible. Right? People ask you, can you hook us up with gutters? You're like, I'll see what I can do. No, I can't. That's a separate price. What I can do is give you a price for those deductibles, right? People tell you they holding that second check. Hey, well, you're only allowed to hold 10%. We need the rest of that, right? Stop beating around the bush with your homeowner. Or maybe you got a clause on your paperwork, right, that says if the homeowner doesn't use you, they owe you 35% or 25%, 10%, $2,000, whatever yours may be, right? And you're not addressing that. You beating around the bush, right? I like to be very direct when it comes to business, right? There's no room for gray areas. We need to be very black and white. And I promise you, if you stop beating around the bush as a salesman, you're gonna close more deals. People like it when we're straightforward with them. If you show people an ounce of like uncertainty, they're gonna take advantage of you, right? So let's say if you got a clause in your agreement that says if they don't use you, they owe you 25%. I like to be very direct, right? Hey, you see that 25% right there? It's nothing for you to worry about, but I'll explain it. In a nutshell, that's for the people that's trying to screw us over. Let's say if we get you approved and you get the check, and you try to go find another roofing company, or maybe you try to take your family on vacation, you'll be subject to pay us 25% for all the work we did to get you approved. But I'll be honest with you, you don't look like that type of person. I just like to explain it, right? I'm very direct. This past weekend, we was doing some training and I had a guy that wanted the free inspection, but he seemed unsure because I was like, we can have our guy out here tomorrow. He's like, oh, well, do I gotta be home? Well, can you schedule an appointment? I say, you know what, can you just be straight up with us? If you don't want the inspection, that's completely fine. But the last thing I want to do is waste our time and waste your time. We don't want to send our guy out here if you're not serious about taking care of the problem. And he said, you know what? I just want to pass at this time. Just give me a business card. Very direct instead of like, oh yeah, that's fine. Do you send people out there to waste their time? So the third closing mistake you may be battling with, guys, is you spend too much time beating around the bush. You need to learn how to be very direct with your homeowners. I know some of you guys like, well, Deshaun, I'm not wired like that. How do I be direct? Make it a part of the process, right? If it's another step, it's a high chance people won't do it. But when you make the hard, difficult questions and statements a part of the process, it makes it 10 times easier to do it. One thing you always got to do is prepare for emergencies, right? So when you practice those hard conversations, those hard statements, being very direct with people, when it's a part of the process, it makes it 10 times easier. Why? Because you will never rise to the occasion. You will only drop to your level of training. So you need to practice being direct and stop beating around the bush with people. The day I stopped beating around the bush, my numbers went up tremendously. I got tired of trying to finesse my way into deals, and let's just have very direct, serious questions and conversations, right? So that's the third closing mistake you may be battling with. You beating around the bush, man. Let's just be direct, let's be upfront, and let's stop sugarcoating things, and let's just say it how it is. So those are 3 closing mistakes that you may be battling with that may be causing you not to close some deals. You're not asking enough questions, right? You're too statement based. Second mistake, right? You don't put enough pressure on your homeowners. You're over here trying to be Mr. Nice Guy. I need you to stop being nice, and I need you to start holding people accountable and let them feel that pressure. And the third thing is you beating around the bush. Stop beating around the bush. Talk about the stuff that you need to talk about, right? Explain your contracts, explain your agreements, have all those hard conversations on the front end. It makes it 10 times easier to have these conversations on the back end. I promise, right? So those are 3 closing mistakes that you may be battling with that's messing up your money and allowing you to not hit your revenue goal for the year. So if you got some value out of the day, please leave us some comments down in the comment box. We do pay attention to those, right? If there's any topics that you want us to cover on Roof Hustlers, send us an email, Deshaun@roofhustlers.com, right? Make sure you follow us over on Instagram @Roof Hustlers, TikTok, Deshaun Bryant, Facebook, Deshaun Bryant /Roof Hustlers, right? So we always value talking to you guys, so don't hesitate to reach out. I always respond back 99.9% of the time. So I hope you hustlers got a ton of value out of the day. And as always, baby, hustle hard, hustle smart, and don't be afraid to bogart. Hustlers, I'm out.